Just a child, eh? Yeah, that's a young one, eh? Just a young one of a whale called humpback. Replica of the boats used by the Arabs to go sailing and fishing. Very strong. With Assalamu alaikum. This one here called the captain's balcony. Captain's balcony. You see the two big pillars, the white ones? Yeah, those were now the navigation pillars back in the days. Just like the ones you see, the ship is following right now. The floaters you see, they're green and the watchtower.
Okay. They decided to place this guy inside.
Just like
to keep on watching.
But why this order? Okay. And the most recent ones, these ones here you see, except our president, the caboose. No, these are the ones for 19 Sultan. That's the way to go to the gun platform. You put gunpowder here, then you ignite fire, like a motor. So the explosion, ndio ilikuwa inarusha the cannonball. So the cannonball, its function was to go and destroy the ship. So the main watchtower. So mnaona the fireplace. It's just like it has been painted, but then this is the original kitchen. So welcome to Fort Jesus. Now the fort was built back in 1593 by the Portuguese. The soldiers came and captured here, the Portuguese soldiers, so that they could build a military base, so that the soldiers could guard the port of Mombasa, the old port of Mombasa. It's just nearby. So the place here down, it's coral rocks and the sea. Okay, so it was built using 3 good years. After an attempt by Vasco da Gama back in 1498, trying to build a fortress here in Mombasa. So he was the first Portuguese to come in Mombasa. But then the people here were Muslims, he was a Christian. They did not accept him here. They feared now he could turn the Muslims here be Christians. That's why they chased him away, and he settled there in Malindi, where he built the first church. You know Vasco da Gama pillar? Yeah. So later now is when he went back to Portugal. So the only way they could capture the place is by using the soldiers. So he contacted the captain there, by then was Matthews Mendes, captain of the Portuguese army. So they came here in 1593 and captured the place now, and used the slaves from here to build the fortress. Okay, so it was built using the slaves, but the Portuguese were the ones who captured. Okay, I told you it took 3 years to complete the fort. That's from 1593 to 1596. So the Portuguese stayed here for 100 years. That's up to 1696. Now when the Arabs from Oman came and wanted to take the already built fort, so that now they could control the trade, start selling slaves, ivory, spices. You remember those days of slavery, selling the slaves? Yeah. So they wanted to rule Indian Ocean as their trade route. So that's why the Arabs from Oman came here. So they laid a siege, because now the Portuguese did not want to surrender. They laid a siege, kuzunguka walls za Fort Jesus. Do you hear Swahili?
Yeah, we understand Swahili.
Yeah. So they laid a siege for 2 good years. That's from 1696 to 1698. So laying a siege meaning they cut off the supplies that were getting in: food, medicine, ammunition, the weapons you see, the cannons, rifles. So laying a siege means the supplies were cut off. So that's why eventually they took over from the Portuguese. So that they took over from 1698. Arabs from Oman. You know Oman? The country there, UAE. So later now, it's when the British conquered the Arabs, back in 1895, when Kenya now was declared a British protectorate. So from 1895 up to 1958, now before we got independence, and this Fort Jesus was made a national museum after independence, 1964. Okay, you get the history. The 3 groups: Portuguese, Omani Arabs, British. So The design of the fort is called Giovanni Battista Cairati, an Italian who designed it in a way that it looks like when Jesus was crucified. Okay, meaning the fort has the body parts, the head, the two hands, right arm, left arm, body, right leg, left leg. Okay, that's why you see here. That's why it's called for Jesus. It's not like there is Jesus in here. Okay.
Jesus came from.
Yeah. So like if you are there at the center of the fort, you assume you are laying down on your back. So you see where your right arm will be.
The head now, according to the.
So assume you are there at the center, or we go there?
You can even go there.
Yeah, let's go there. Then we'll come back there. Yeah. Like here, you assume you are laying on your back, or somebody want to lie down.
It's okay.
So where will be my head facing? The head of the fort, Yeah. Right arm? Right arm, where is it facing? Entrance and the exit, Left arm? Straight, read that name for me. The kitchen, The Portuguese kitchen, okay? The body, this was an empty space. After the British came is when they built the museum gallery here, okay? So that's part of the body, The one you can see circled there, so we'll go back there. So I hope you are understanding now. Now the legs, the far end. You see that house there, That's the right leg, where now the Omanis administered their rule from after they came. The left leg, we'll see the administration of the fort, administration block, where now the Portuguese used to bury their people, Portuguese graveyards. Okay?
So let me come with my handkerchief.
Okay. Nyinyi mnafaa bwana mnijenge hivi. Hii mambo ya kutumia social media hii. Ama mtaona baadaye.
The bastion of Alberta.
So you see the Mtungoji. So unaona kwenye mmeingililia
Yeah, the entrance.
The entrance. Mkapitia hivyo mkakuja hapa mkastampiwa Haya, mmekuja all the way. Hii hall ni hapa the head part. So the head part kuna passages. Ile ilikuwa inaleta supplies hapa ndani. Food, medicine na hizo cannons unaona. Na zile rifles vyombo vya kivita. So kuna passages tutaona. Tutaona pia captain's house, captain's changing room, the gun platform hii hapa Ndio unaona hizi hapa inaitwa Watchtower. Mali Portuguese walikuwa wanatumia watch if their enemies approaching.
Yes, now
So,
I understand.
Yeah. Now where you entered through. So we'll start with the head part. This side. This hall you see here is called the Mazrui Hall, a place for meetings used by the Arabs. A baraza house, the Mazrui Hall. Now we'll see passages used by the Portuguese to bring in food, medicine, ammunition, all that stuff. Then we'll go to the left arm, including the Portuguese kitchen, and we'll go all the way to even the Watchtowers, where the Portuguese used to see if there were enemies approaching, then they could start attacking using the cannons and the rifles. Okay. So there are like the 8 of them in the whole fort, at every end of the fort. Okay. Yeah. So we'll go to the main watchtower, the one you saw when you just entered. Okay. We'll see others as we proceed with the journey. So this museum gallery you see here is under renovation right now. Okay. The left leg where I told you the Portuguese graveyards were found, where now the administration block for the 40s. The soldier barracks, the ruins you see there, which were destroyed during the war between the Portuguese and Arabs. That's, remember the years, 1696 to 1698. The barracks and the chapel for the Portuguese, where they used to harvest their water from. They did not want to use the salty water of the ocean. So the slaves dug for them a cistern here called the Portuguese cistern, which is 56 feet deep. It's like a tank for harvesting rainwater for their consumption and cooking. Now, after the Arabs came to this place in 1698, they believed the Portuguese and poisoned their water in the cistern. So they did not use it. That's why they dug the well behind the cistern. So the cistern is that building you see there.
Yeah.
Then there's a well nyuma yake,
So
which
you'll
now,
be able to see it.
yeah, will be. It's just an overview before we start. Yeah. Now the Omani house at the farthest end, okay? Nyumba ya Sultan sasa, So we'll get to learn the made-trade items of the Arabs. Maybe you know them, I already told you the spices, ivory, slaves ni watu, Then we'll tutakujia pale juu, all this way. Now this is where we'll finish our tour, before we get down and get to the exit again. So any question?
Yeah, just okay, we want to see it in practice.
Yeah. This one here, this is the floor of the fort. I told you it was built on top of an island. 70% of the fort is built using coral rocks back in the day. So coral, you mix it with the lime mortar, okay? Because there was no cement back then. So the coral rocks, you see them? Yeah, those are the coral rocks, meaning this place is dug.
So it wasn't
It wasn't
like this?
It was a big stone, so it's the slaves that carved it to make a passage here.
So this product made from the slaves?
Yeah. This whole thing was dug by them to create a passage, the passage of arches. The name because of the way it looks, like arcs. Okay, you see that passage there, the short one, like how the Portuguese were short. Yeah.
So it was easy for them to
pass through that. So that's where they could bring in the ammunition from, just ammunition. Ammunition is ile vyombo vya kivita, cannons, hizo rifles na cannon balls. And then they could store the ammunition where you see the students entering. That is the ammunition store, which as well is not a room that it's built. It's it's limawe imekaviwa to create the store, like a cave. Yeah, we'll get in there so that you see. The original stairs back in the days, these ones you see, the coral. Yeah, these are now renovations for you visitors. Yeah, so you can imagine bringing all that big stuff from that, using those coral up to that place. Yeah, you don't have shoes.
big technology like the one
Yeah.
right now.
Okay, so the passage of arches, so we'll come back there. So in here was the Portuguese captain's house. Yeah, Portuguese captain's house, made of coral as well. I told you it's the coral rock, then you mix with the lime, lime mortar.
And they're very strong.
Very strong. You see, it's also almost for 31 years from that time, and still it's not wearing out.
The modern sense.
Now you see it had a roof. During the attacks from the Arabs, it's when it was blown up, and the ruins as well. But you see the remnants of the roof, the iron. Naona mabaki ya the roof. Very strong. So there was even the captain's changing room. Yeah.
The captain's
House. Mali analala, mali anakaa. So have a look at the wardrobes and the closets. You see, they carve it until they make a closet. So the drawings you see, they are not allowed. It's just when people come here, they want to leave marks on the walls. Someone was here, it's not allowed. It's not allowed, but so when you get caught by that, it's punishable.
It's not good because we start doing our own stuff here.
Yeah.
It's not good.
a place for putting the lamp. So this hall is the captain's changing room. Up there is the gun platform. Okay? Gun platform, where now if there were enemies approaching, the you see the holes there for placing the rifles. You have high chances of shooting the attacker, but then when they shoot back, the bullets are blocked by the wall. Yeah. The gun platform, that's the watchtower. I told you there are like 8 of them in here, so that's one of them. We'll get to the main watchtower, which is near the sea. The watchtowers, so they have holes in there, like you see, where you can spot enemies approaching, but they cannot spot there's someone looking. So the one watching at the watchtower could alert the soldiers. Now they could align themselves there and start the war.
In case of attack.
Yeah, in case of attacks. Now, there was another passage there, straight from the sea. So the other side is the sea. Ocean iko hapo tu nyuma. So they could dock the ships, and now there was a passage there those days for letting in food and medicine only. I told you the passage of purchase was for bringing in ammunition.
This is for medicine and the food.
Yeah, and the store for the food and the medicine.
For the food is here.
Yeah. So it's called the passage of the steps, step by step, okay? So passage of the steps was for bringing in food and medicine.
The other one, that didn't have steps. The one we saw.
No, that one, you saw the coral is the original stairs. You see, this one was carved in a way. This one here is called now the Mazrui Hall. Okay? Where now the Omani Arabs and the other Arabs like Al Mazrui, who was a ruler here in Mombasa from 1741 to 1837. Before now they left the place for the British. This is where they could come for the meetings. Ni mahali ya baraza. The original wall of the hall ni hii hapa. These others are renovations. Okay? That's the original wall, which had those inscriptions from the Arabs. One of them was Muhammad, who was writing like a prayer, a forgiveness for the people as he was planning to go to perform Hajj, uko Mecca. This is the grave of our prophet. So, okay.
These lightings, were they done during this day or it's
The writing itself is that one.
this one? So this is an interpretation.
Interpretation, yeah.
Okay.
The inscribings.
For someone to understand.
Yeah. So, before the British conquered them in 1895, they were their protectors, the British. That's why eventually they submitted to the British, the Arabs. So when they came for meetings, the Arabs and the British could sit up. And African leaders representing the slaves were also allowed to attend the meeting. But then they were sitting on the ground. Like you see in the picture here. Yeah, you see the Arabs and the British. Then the African leaders. You see even when you're wamejikatama.
Yeah, in somber mood.
The original rifle back in the days. This one here,
So the original rifle.
The original rifle made of wood, brass and silver. Na iko na mkanda ya leather. But then the bullets are the replica, just in case you are thinking of trying it out.
We need to see.
You need to see. That's
it wasn't the one who was being used.
Yeah.
This is not the one which was being used, but it's just for demonstration.
No, it was the one being used.
Is
the original rifle from those days. But they are the same, but then replicas, not live bullets. That's why even the cannons you see there, the holes for putting the gunpowder are blocked because you can explain to persons and they have that gunpowder they want to try. They start demolishing people's houses. A place for putting the manuscripts while addressing. Remember, this is a meeting place. It's like the modern day pulpit. Okay, used back then.
So let me ask you a question. This is the photo that was taken inside here.
The photo here was taken in Zanzibar, but then was brought here because this was a meeting place. This was the meeting place for the Arabs. You know those Arabs, they come from mostly Oman and Zanzibar. The Omani Arabs, that's where they live. Remember, they are ruled by sultans. Kama yule Said. Alafu sultan akiaga, kijana wake mzee ndo ana take over. The firstborn. You see other weapons used back in the days, like the swords used by the Arabs, the sword, real swords, and the kanjas, daggers. So I'll let you guess first before I tell you. A hat. This is not a hat. This is a shield. A shield. Ya kujikinga risasi back in the days. Yeah, back in 15, 16. So it has a handle. So you protect yourself using it. Made of rhino skin. Okay? Yeah. Rhino skin. Very strong. But then you see there's a bullet that passed through here. Yeah. So meaning there's a person who died. So that's the Mazrui Hall. It will be very unfair if you don't see the ammunition store before we proceed. So you can imagine you are being used to engrave all these stones so that you can make a passage. The slaves are used, they suffer. Yeah. So you see, it's not like a house that's constructed. It's unachimba, una create the store.
The no light is very dark.
Yeah. So you didn't ask me why the passage was closed, you people. So after 1895, when the British took the place over, the ammunition store was turned to be a cell, jela. That's why for the slaves and the Africans here, wale watukutu. That's why now you see the passage there was sealed. Come and have a look. Ikaeda kama mkosa ama mtaki slavery.
So this was supposed to be used as a cell.
Yeah, by the British, Okay. So but the Portuguese used this as the ammunition store. So zilikuwa zinaletewa hapo.
And this can be a good cell.
You can imagine you're detained here, no light.
Many years. Are they so cold?
Yeah, so cold now. This was used as a cell from 1895. Yeah.
Someone who was detained here for a long period of time.
You want pictures? Let me watch quickly.
So ile ndio ilikuwa gate ya kuingiza hizo ammunition from the hiyo mesh hapo ndio wanaingiza then on this other side kuna hiyo ammunition store na ndio wana store those things
Alicia, look. Esther, look.
So now we are getting to the left arm. Now, this is the Portuguese wall painting, drawn on animal skin, okay? Using red and black carbon, easy penseli ama sasa, by the Portuguese sailors, so that now they could communicate to the people visiting here how the life here was. Sasa. So this is for preserving the history and communicate. Yeah, passing information. Like the ships, you see, the means of transport used for bringing in the supplies. Okay. The churches and the crosses, you remember I told you they were Christians. That's why initially Vasco da Gama was not allowed here. The fish, main source of food. Remember this place is near the ocean. Okay, yeah. So the mall here, Fuko, Namanisha, there was a time now, mostly the time they were under siege, they were forced to use an underground passage. You know the animal walks underground, so it communicated in the Portuguese were forced at one time to use an underground passage, okay, to go and sail and find food, okay. Like the time they were under siege, you remember they could not get out through the exit, they could be killed by the Arabs. So there was a secret passage underground all the way to Florida, modern day Mangina. Wanaenda kutokea huko, they sail and find fish there, wale wa kutoroka wanatoroka. There's an underground tunnel? Yeah, there was an underground tunnel. Okay. It was starting here all the way mpaka kule. Now, after the British took over the place, the secret passage was sealed on this end. Now they turned the place as a women's cell. Jela ya wanawake. The heart here appears with an arrow as a meaning as well, that the Portuguese were heartbroken. Oh, yeah. Remember? Yeah. Most of them were killed by the Arabs, and most of them died due to hunger, diseases. Okay, yeah. Remember the time they were under siege? Yeah. No ammunition coming in, no food, no medicine. Yeah. So the ammunition you have ikiisha, mnamalizwa. That's why eventually Arabs waliwaweza. Okay. Now this is the Portuguese.
So Muslims?
No, communicating now the Arabs, they took over because now there was that rivalry between the Muslims and Christians.
Okay, this represents Muslims.
Yeah.
And that one represents Christianity.
Yeah, Christianity.
Okay.
This way. Now, the doors you have seen at the Mazrui Hall are just renovations. These are the original now Omani doors. Yeah, which now are of two types, according to status of people, high class, low class. Okay, so if the doors had the sharp spikes,
like the one we saw on the entrance.
like the one you saw on the entrance and the one you will see here. So this, when you see the metal here is blunt, you know those are low class, low class Oman Arabs living in that house. Okay, so the metal and the wood ni ngumu sana.
And how were they able to fuse between the metal and the wood?
So the people from Oman na wale wa kule Lamu, they know to build these things using this hardwood called teak. Sasa na hizi machuma wanaweka. So back in the days hata wanyama wangejaribu kuingia kwa boma zao wangeweza. Sasa
this is over 100 years. And it stands strong.
Na bado ikuliwi na mchwa. The chain pia ilikuwa na maana yake. The chain, nyororo. That the Omani Arabs were united, unity. The flowers, love and prosperity amongst them. Okay. So from here, can you see any passage? Any passage. Kuna mahali kwingine mnaona?
This one?
Si huko, hapa tu tuko. You are just guessing, So you see, it's a secret passage. It's so hidden. That's where it was, It can't be seen. You see, just it's like a corner. So that is the place that was sealed, and this was now turned to a women's cell. That's why you see the two holes were for letting in air and light for the women. These are women. There's some pity for them from the British.
So women were at least compared to the cell of
sort of. Yeah, now The halls were closed later when this was made a museum. Wageni nyinyi msikuja hapa mwangukiwe na vitu kutoka kule. Sasa so this was the secret passage used by the Portuguese.
Yeah.
So look at the difference between this door and that one.
It's not sharp, but it's not like the one we have.
Yeah, so kama tu inakaa spiky you know it's high class.
So-
Ikikuwa blunt kama kimekatiwa hapa hivi unajua low class.
Low class. So this is a middle class.
Hii sasa ni high class.
High class.
Ni high class na low class. High class namaanisha watu wa kifahari. Low class namaanisha ile Ruto wanaitaka wananchi wa kawaida. Sasa
Yes.
now the left arm where the Portuguese kitchen was. After the British took over the place again, it was sent to be a cell. One Mekatilili wa Menza was detained here. Yes, but we'll still see the kitchen. Right now it's used as a curio shop. You see husk of coconut I used to make all this stuff. This is talent. Coconut husks. So mnaona the fireplace. It's just like it has been painted, but then this is the original kitchen. So the fireplace, they put firewood there, the place for serving through the window. Now after the British took over is when the windows were put the bars, because it was a cell. That's not the only kitchen, even this side. And here as well. The main watchtower. I told you the function of the watchtowers. A soldier could go in there and spot if there are enemies approaching from that end. Or so after watching, could alert the fellas to start attacking. The holes here are for using rifles to attack. You see, it's like they had that gun platform there. So you shoot, you put your rifle there and shoot. So when they shoot back, the wall helps you to defend the...
So difficult for someone to shoot.
You see, these people are very organized. And the big holes like that one and that one there, using the cannons. So that's just a modern park that has been built by the National Museum. So if you want to have a party or a wedding, you hire. That's the...
So people from inside here are not allowed to go there?
It's still under renovation. It's
now,
not been complete. Yeah, people cannot access there right now. So how the cannon worked, I told you the holes are sealed because of the curiosity. So you put a lot of gunpowder. So the bullet is the cannonball, a thing like a shot put, tutaiona pale, made of cast iron. So you put gunpowder here, then you ignite fire, naeka moto. So the explosion, ndio ilikuwa inarusha the cannonball. So the cannonball, its function was to go and destroy the ship. So it goes and hit the ship. Remember they were wooden. Make a hole in it, the water enters in the ship. So they sink, they capsize. Mostly for breaking ships. Na pia ikikupata kichwa, ile kitu ni mzito sana. Assalamu alaikum. This one here called the captain's balcony.
Okay, the
Captain's balcony. You see the two big pillars, the white ones? Yeah, those were now the navigation pillars back in the days. Just like the ones you see, the ship is following right now. The floaters you see, they're green, and you see some green stuff and pink ones. Those are not the guides for the ships right now. These were the guides for the ships to the old port and bringing the supplies in here back in the days. So the captain could come here at the balcony and see if there were high tides or low tides using those pillars. Then could communicate if the people could go sailing, fishing, or the people bring supplies. Yeah. Remember the means of communication back then? Horns. Horns. No. Huh? No phones, horns. There is a tune you put in so you alert them. The water
So when
is...
we are here, where is the port?
The?
The port.
The port is just nearby, so it's if you want, I'll take you, but then it's another tour. Okay, it's just nearby, but this is a long guide as well, so we'll talk after the tour, don't worry. So those are the navigation pillars. This is the captain's balcony. You know the other side is Nyali. This is Mvita. So here in Mombasa, you know, most of the sub-counties are divided using the ocean. Yeah, like that side Nyali, this side Mvita.
This is the one connecting Nyali Bridge.
Yeah. Okay, this is the same sea you see. Yeah, you see even there at the ferry, that water there, now the new port where the ships pass through, that's the ocean now, dividing Likoni, that's south coast. Yeah, it's a sub-county, that's south coast and huko Mvita. Mpaka sasa umeelewa kwa nini kuliitwa Mvita? Hiyo vita. The whole hall, mpaka kule kumefungwa, was used as a dining for the Portuguese. The dining hall for the Portuguese. Right now it's used as a kangaroo room to advertise faceless horse na mavazi ya Kiarabu. So, you want a picture here where you just came from? There's nothing much here. Ni kule tulitoka. That's the way to go to the gun platform. But it's closed, It's risky. Okay. You people, umetokea wapi? Where are you from? Nakuru. Karibuni Mombasa. So we are through with the left arm, The body, which I told you, the museum gallery is under renovation. So, but you know about this grinding stone here? Traditional grinding stones used by our grandparents.
Serious?
Yeah, you put cereals, then you put a stick there. You either that way or you unazungusha. So the surface ndo inaenda ikigrind ile cereals kwa unga. Sasa. So but ungechoka sana kama inaweza tumika saa hii, imagine kuzungusha hii kijiwe yote. Go on. So the cannons, there is a difference between these cannons and those cannons.
Yeah.
Maybe you can spot yourselves. The handle and those one do not have handles. So these are British cannons. Those are Portuguese cannons. Okay. Those are Portuguese cannons. These are British cannons. The difference is the distance they throw the cannonball. Yeah.
Were
This,
they initially placed here?
no, they were there at around the watchtowers. That's why you can see some holes there. There are no cannons there. They were brought here later. Yeah.
Because here there's no.
There's no enemy here. So you see there's nothing in there. It's under renovation. You know anchors, docking ships, Anchors used back then, made of coral as well. You know the modern anchor? The one that's it's hook-like? Yeah. I'll show you one there. So these were the anchors used back then. You know how they work? You throw it in the ocean, then you have tied a rope here. You tie the other end to the ship. So the weight of the anchor cannot allow it to move. So you remove your cargo from the ships. Anchors. Here they're called vigango, but used by the Mijikenda to appease their ancestors. They were put on the graveyards of the elders, on the graves of the elders. So they believed if they could not put the vigango, spirits of the ancestors could follow them.
So this was like part of
Appeasing.
inscription.
Huh?
They were used like
Ni kama msalaba inawekwa juu ya kaburi. So they believe kama wangeweka hii watafuatwa na spirits of the ancestors. Vigango, lakini hizi hapa za Waarabu for the same function. Now these are the most recent British cannons. You see even the material is different. This is not cast iron like those ones. Ni steel. Those ones are less heavier than those ones. Left leg. We are through with the arms.
We are through with arms.
Remember this was the body.
Arms, yeah. Okay, these are the legs. They
Yeah.
are not even close to the legs, where are the thighs.
Yeah, heading to the
Left leg.
Leg.
The whole leg. This one here. Where now it's a private entity. That is where now the Portuguese were buried. If they died, the Portuguese graveyards. Before now this administration block was built by the British when they came here.
On the tombs.
Yeah, on the graves of the Portuguese. Yeah. So you can imagine if now people dig down there, they'll find the skeletons. Huh? Yeah, zinapanda hivyo. Nilikuwa nataka kuelezea hapa. We use this path, but if you want to go there, you'll still go. So from here going that way were the soldier barracks, now where the soldiers stayed. Kumbuka zilikuwa walls, ni manyumba, they were destroyed during the attack. Yeah. The barracks and the chapel I showed you in the map. You see this hall here? From this place up to there was the Portuguese chapel. Yeah. So remember these were like houses with roofs, makuti roofs.
So they started doing that.
During the attacks it's when they were destroyed. So you remember me telling you the name of this thing here? Nakumbuka jina?
Which one?
This house here. Inakaa kinyumba hii hapa. Portuguese system. Which I told you the floor is not here, it's 56 feet deep. Like a tank for harvesting rainwater, because the Portuguese did not want to use the salty water.
the one you are saying you want to see it.
Uh-huh.
You said they dug their own well because they believed that the water was poisonous.
Those are Omanis. Now this is the place now the Portuguese harvested the rainwater from.
That's the modern anchor.
This is the modern anchor. This is zinc-coated steel. Okay? So, it's so heavy. So remember I told you it's 56 feet deep and 6 by 6 meters walls. Okay. So it was like a place for harvesting rainwater for their consumption na kupika. Sasa, come on, have a look at the this. Even when you try to speak from there, you hear your echo. It's deep. But remember, remember this is not a well. This is a cistern, like a tank for storing water. Used back then. So I told you after the Arabs now took over from 1698, they believed the Portuguese and poisoned the water in the cistern. They did not use it. That's why now they dug the well there, the Omani well. So that's a well, that's salty water. So let's go and have a look at the well. It's still functional, the well. Which is now 76 feet deep. That's about 23 meters. So it's still during those days, 1698. But you know the ones who dug very well, you know it's the slaves. So deep.
23 meters.
Yeah.
23 meters is how many feet?
76.
Even nowadays it's being used.
Even nowadays it's functional. Inatumika kwa machoo huku. You see the water is not so clean. You see the bedrooms at the barracks. The toilets, Portuguese toilets. Naona mnazitafuta hamzipati. The Portuguese toilets. So comfortable. A place for helping you just sit here, do your stuff. The pee goes all the way down there.
Okay.
You see even how the grass is greener there, greener pastures. Unaona hizi zote ni choo. Hiyo yote ni pit. Pit for these are all Portuguese toilets. They are funny. You see even no privacy back in the days. We'll get there, don't worry. But juvenile, mtoto, just a child. Yeah, that's a young one. Just a young one of a whale called humpback. Replica of the boats used by the Arabs to go sailing and fishing. Very strong. With mahogany, yeah. No using those, hakuna zile vitu za kusongesha maji hivi. Ile ya pale nyuma ndo ya kucontrol. Kibandera mnajua ni ya kazi gani? Controlling the wind. Yeah.
Let's have a photo here, can you?
Haya. At the Omani house, you get to learn about the Arabs, mostly, okay? Their main trade items, the people who ruled them. Remember I told you the title, Sultan. When the Sultan dies, the eldest son takes over, in that order. So remember the Sultans are from the lineage of Said.
So these are the currency.
Now these are the stamps used back in the days.
Yeah.
If you are sending a message, you stamp them using these ones. Like you are being caught, that ticket, go and stamp there. These were the stamps used back in the days. The Arab coins, the badges for the Sultan.
So this is the senior most. Oh, this one.
This one here.
This one's for the senior.
Yeah. You remember the name of these ones?
Okay, this one is for. Let's start with this one. This is for shield. This one is like it used to keep the swords.
Yeah, sword.
This one is for a small knife. Is that so?
Daga. They call them kanjas.
Yes.
And this is a rifle. Yeah.
The original.
The original one. You see even the leather. Okay. I'm gonna have a look at some of the spices. Some of the spices, like the one put in pilau, mdalasini, cinnamon. These are mostly from Zanzibar and Oman. Frankincense, you remember ile ilipatiwa sijui ni Yesu ama ni nani?
The first three disciples to Jesus. Frankincense, gold, something like that. Don't remember.
Ile kitu inachomwa na Waarabu huku, inatoa ile smoke. Sijui kama umepita streets ya Mombasa. It's that one. Cloves, cinnamon. The real ivory? Yeah. Yeah, the ivory, Pembe ya ndovu. Yeah, it was a trade item for the Arabs. The spices, the ivory, and slaves, Remember, slaves are people. Okay?
It's very old.
Very old, Unaona hata kuna cobwebs, So from Said, this is the lineage of the leadership, sultans, in this order. Okay? And the most recent ones, these ones here you see, except our president, the caboose, No, these are the ones for 19th Sultan. So it was their culture that Sultan should have married 4 wives. There was a dress code to identify the wives of the Sultan.
First wife, the second.
Yeah, the first here and how she should have dressed. Okay, the second wife. Okay, this she should have dressed. The third, the fourth. This is now how a virgin Oman girl should have dressed. Now you could know that one is not married. Yet. How a virgin Oman girl.
It was still a virgin for a number.
Ni muivo, endo yule nobody. And you want a picture with the wives or the wife you prefer?
I cannot tell people I'm in love.
So you prefer the third wife, Kwa tu saa vijana wa Kiomani, especially during initiation, how he could dress with that dagger tied on his waist to communicate that he was ready for war any time. Now he is a gentleman. Okay. Just the utensils for the Arabs. Yeah. These are just renovations. The people from Oman renovate their houses so that they can keep their culture here. Watu wakae wakijua.
Okay.
Yeah, like
So
this
they
house.
support.
Like this house and the Mazrui Hall, they are supported by the government of Oman to do some renovations. That's why you see it's not like the way it used to be those days.
Because imagine using an African to renovate. They don't understand the culture.
They don't understand.
They can put their own things.
Yeah. So they give money so that now the renovations can be done. Even the museum gallery, it's the British who are funding the renovations. King Charles III was here last year, so he found it in a bad state, so that's why he gave money for the renovations. So you see, British want to preserve their culture.
But we Africans, we are showing ours.
Now these are just renovations in Nyumba ya Sultan, okay? Just renovations. You see the life there at Oman, Zanzibar, okay? Bala Fort. Now, just a short history of the latest caboose. The Sultan Caboose bin Said was the latest Sultan who was taken to study kule England. That's why you can see even he had a chance to meet Queen Elizabeth. Okay. Now when he went back, he was kungoja apatiwe uongozi kama the eldest son. So he had a hunger for power. He killed his father so that he could take over from him.
He was impatient.
He was impatient.
Was he the first one? Was he the first one?
But he was supposed to wait.
He was supposed to wait, but he did not wait. It's not like the screen was there those days. I told you the renovations.
They are still open to a
How is the tour? How is the tour taking you? So with a guide at least you enjoy the tour. Otherwise you could have taken 2-3 pictures. You could have been bored.
Oman House Cannon.
Now this is the Arab cannon. These are so inferior. Could throw the cannonball to a distance of just 100 meters. Unaona ni ndogo. But then kuweka ni ile gunpowder moto, the cannonball thrown. Yeah, it's close. Maybe you have gunpowder you want to try. Yeah, I told you the watchtowers were all over. Another watchtower.
Okay. They decided to place this guy inside.
Just like
to keep on watching.
But why could they keep a watchtower here and it's not around the sea?
So they were ready for war anytime
from inside.
From anywhere. So it's not. You see now they use.
Could come from this way.
Yeah, some enemies could come from this way.
Yeah.
It's just a tactic used by the military. You know you are ready.
An enemy cannot alert you.
Cannot alert you. But then that was the main watchtower where we were. Because now most of
Mostly
them
they came
could
from the sea.
Come on,
using
see.
the ocean.
Yeah. Okay.
You want to know about the politics? Ile tu ni Mombasa County Assembly. County Assembly buildings. Court of Appeal. Just came through the way. Ndio mlitumia sio?
Yeah.
Mliacha kwa Court of Appeal. Past the County Assembly buildings, you have the Governor's House. The way to go to State House.
Okay.
This is now an area which is so protected.
Yeah, of course.
This one was so comfortable.
Yeah, but so comfortable.
So they are better than the
This one is better.
This house was used as like a dispensary. Okay. So the medical attendant for the these soldiers was okay. Who was shot dead. Okay. Now, unaona pale ni kaburi yake. He was buried there 3 feet under that same place. But then the bones that are put there on top are just the replica.
for demonstration. Moment of silence.
Mpe heshima zake za mwisho. Tupe heshima za mwisho.
Yeah, you know it's a woman by looking at the pelvic bone. It's not for women.
Okay.
So that's how Portuguese buried their people, with the head facing home.
Okay.
This real skeleton of a young humpback whale, a juvenile humpback whale.
It's a young one.
Yeah, just a young one. It was found dead at Unguanabi, Kipini, Tana River County, back in 1992 by a group of researchers who now buried it so that the flesh could rot.
So that will remain with
the skeleton. Now this is the real skeleton of a juvenile humpback whale, about 20 years. The whale has a lifespan of 45 to 100 years, so you can imagine this is just a juvenile.
a young one.
The head, the spine, and the ribs. You know it's a mammal, right?
Yeah.
Wonders. The whole of it, yeah, it's just a juvenile. So
You can imagine the mother.
that's how the whale looks like. If maybe you've seen it in documentaries and
Movies.
It's the mother and the child. That's the skeleton of the young one. You can take a picture of facts about the whale.
I think. Let's take one photo here. Okay. Let me first check. Simama, simama. And feel tulikuwa kwa dark and we have not. Faster before we go to the next. Yeah.
That's means of transport back in the days. It's only there in the world of here. For transporting people, for transporting goods, they were all moving on
Rails, yeah.
Okay? So none of the wheels. But then the driver with the slaves.
Slaves were drive. Oh.
If you want to be taken somewhere, you just sit there, like the Sultan kama anataka kupeleka mahali. You push
Then the slaves push.
back in the slavery days. So you can imagine, nasi kwa barabara ni kwa reli, so you can even hit the rails and fall. But then you have no alternative.
You don't have a question to ask.
So hiyo ni ya kutransport
Goods.
mizigo. This is for people.
And that one looks heavy.
So heavy. And it's, na sasa ijawekwa mizigo. Which panel is that?
This one is for the. It doesn't have an handle, so definitely it was for Portuguese.
Yeah, Portuguese candles.
Portuguese. Yeah.
Hizi ni barracks.
Yeah, for the soldiers.
The name Watchtower.
Yeah.
Watchtower.
So maybe if you want to relieve yourself, don't go to the Portuguese toilets or the Arab toilets. Yours is here. Okay.
Okay. It's okay. It's okay. Yeah. I can hear that. Let me assist you with this one. I think it is off. It is off. Yeah. Take on.
You see, it's a long tour.
It's a long tour.
You didn't imagine it.
We didn't expect it will be that long.
That's why I told you earlier. So you see that place like a pool there?
Yeah.
That was used by the British as a juvenile court. Yeah, not that Watchtower. This one
court
here was used as a juvenile court.
So where was the position of the judge?
Judge here up, where the generator is at. Okay.
Okay.
The place for the parade for the British soldiers.
The flag swap.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then flag.
Were they using flags?
Huh?
Were they using flags during those days?
These are the modern.
Okay.
They were not using flags, they were just coming for parade.
So East Africa.
So, are you aware of the famous English Point Marina? The hotel in Nyali. The luxury hotel there.
The most luxurious hotel.
Ile kule unaona ilikuwa na perimeter wall. Unaona ile house kule? Ni kwa Mama Ngina. Mama Ngina, mama ya Uhuru. Mama yake hiyo.
Okay.
Bend your head.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just watch your head, watch your head.
So the whole of this room was used as a gunpowder store. Remember I told you it's gunpowder that was put on the cannons, gunpowder store. This one here. So this was the last place to be blown up. So this was not the roof of the gunpowder store. It was the last place to be blown up when the Arabs were taking over the place. So it's the Portuguese soldier who was guarding the gunpowder who blew himself, so that he could not asishikwe mateka. Sasa very painful. So that's when now later the Arabs repaired it. But they did not stop the. You can take a picture of the facts. Then now we go to the gym and lift the cannonballs. Kwanza kuna watu wanatoka.
Inaenda kuhit wooden sheets. Any cast iron. Yeah.
Hiyo ni ile ndogo tu.
Hizo wooden sheets zinapasuka ningia maji. Wewe uko kwenye meli alafu meli pasuke. Unakufa.
You see it's too heavy. That is now the bullet back in the days, which could hit the ship and make a hole in it.
Feel this? Yeah. Waneka hiyo gunpowder baruti. Si ndio watu wa kwanza kuja Mombasa. Ambao ni kina
Okay. The bullets of those days now.
Legs apart bobo, simple tu hivyo. Ukibeba mwanzo legs apart. Yeah, inaweza ya.
Hiyo wacha achukue mwenyewe.
Huyu hawezi. Achukua.
Chukua ikiwa chini, otherwise ukimpatia hivi.
Ndio sasa bullet yao.
Hiyo ndio ilikuwa inagonga ship inatoboa maji inaingia, the enemies wanazama. Unaekea baruti pale, hiyo gunpowder, alafu unawashia moto. Hiyo explosion ndio inarusha hiyo kitu. You want pictures with the cannonballs? Eh?
Yeah, of course.
Kwani ni mzito?
Cannonballs.
Now that's the detailed tour of Fort Jesus. Eh? Touching every history, everything. Eh? Hope it's so detailed. Hope you have enjoyed the tour.
And we really appreciate. Done an amazing job. What's your name first of all? Just hold it. Conclusion. In case if someone wants to find you on social media, it's also good to see your mic is working. Your name?
My name is Samson Muchui.
Samson Muchui.
Yeah.
Your social media account if someone wants to find you.
Instagram Sidasam. Yeah. CCIDDA.
Okay.
.sam.
We appreciate your efforts. At least you have learned something.
Yeah.
So that comes the end of our session here. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching this video from the very beginning up to the end. As you can see, this is Fort Jesus, the famous Fort Jesus. We've had amazing experience and now we are leaving this place. So we've learned a lot. Hope you have also learned a lot. So please remember to subscribe to Freedom Global TV.